Hi, it's Wyndham. How do we deal with regret? How do we overcome it? Because it can feel such a powerful emotion. It can have such a tight grip on us. When we look back and we think, God, I was such an idiot. Why did I do that? I knew I should have done something different. Really felt I should have managed it in a different way. And if we aren't proactive and if we don't understand what is happening, that feeling, that emotion of regret can become overwhelming and it will follow us forever. It's like anchored into the past, something we wish we could change. But universal laws is we can't change the things that have already happened. We know that to be true. So what do we do in the moment to alleviate these deep feelings of regret? Because if we don't do anything, they're going to take us down. They are going to inhibit us for the rest of our lives. So there are 3 universal truths I want to talk you through. And every time you have any resistance to one of them, just take a moment, reflect on your own life, and see if it applies. Being honest with yourself. So number 1, universal truth number 1. We have a choice in every moment. Right? Now this can be uncomfortable. And by choice, that also includes a decision to be made. And we'll have heard it a lot. That whole idea of like making no decision is a decision in its own right. Okay, so universal truth number 1, and something that if we cannot accept this, then we're gonna struggle. Okay, so universal truth number 1, we have a choice in every moment. Universal truth number 2, we as human beings have 2 powerful primary motivators whenever we make a choice. Okay? Our decisions, our choices, either insulate us from something or they expose us to something. Okay? So we have a choice in every moment, and that choice is primarily motivated by a desire to insulate, protection if you like, or exposure. Okay? The third universal truth, and this is a really important one, there are always 3 types of outcome. Now I use the word outcome, essentially I'm talking about consequences. But as if you've seen any more of my videos, you'll know I'm keen on my language, and consequences for me feels a bit heavy and I don't like it. So I change it. Consequences is exactly the same as outcomes, but outcomes feels easier. So I use 3 outcomes. There are always 3. The intended outcome, the unintended outcome, and the unnoticed outcome. Always, guaranteed. There will be an outcome that we are primarily trying to achieve, as informed by the 2 primary motivators, insulation or exposure. There will always be some form of unintended outcome, and there will always be the unnoticed outcomes. Now, for the purpose of this conversation, unnoticed is, well, there's nothing we can do about those. There is an argument to be put forward that says, well, we should bring our awareness to more of the outcomes our decisions create. But for right now, specifically with the topic of regret in mind, we can put that aside. Regret is us fixating on the unintended outcomes of our decisions. And what happens is we completely disconnect ourselves from exactly what was going on at the point of that decision. Now, we're either doing that because we're too busy worrying about the regret, or it was such a long time ago we can't remember all of the nuances around the decision we made. But I can guarantee you the decision you made was primarily driven by either a desire to insulate yourself from something or to expose yourself to something. The intended outcome, we skip over. It's like, well, yeah, that was the point, right? But I'm left with all of this unintended outcomes, and I hate this. I don't want this. This isn't what I was trying to achieve, and I cannot understand how it has happened. It has happened because it is a universal law. There will always be three types of outcome: intended, unintended, unnoticed. Our regret is our fixation on the unintended outcomes of our decisions that were made with the best intention. That's all that's happening. So if we can accept those three universal laws, I have a choice in every moment. My choice is primarily dictated by a desire to insulate or expose. There will always be three types of outcome, and my regret is fixating on the unintended outcomes. If we can accept that, just as okay, I'm just going to accept this. We create space for ourselves to actually start looking at the unintended outcomes and trying to figure out what we do. So what can we do once we've accepted those three universal laws and we find ourselves in a moment of regret? We create some space, we create some distance, and we talk ourselves through how we have got to where we are. And we do this out loud. There is something incredibly powerful about speaking out loud or writing something down. I don't understand why it is, but all of those thoughts and beliefs we have that are holding us back, they start to lose their power when we speak them out loud or write them down. All of those ideas and thoughts and beliefs that are going to drive us forward and create the life we really want to live, well, somehow they become more tangible, they become stronger, more solidified when we speak them out loud. So if you are struggling with regret in your life, and I think we all do from time to time, here is a process that you can use. Accept those three fundamental laws, create some space, talk yourself through it. And this is what it might look like. So we've accepted the laws, we stand there and we're going, okay, so I am currently regretful of X in my life. I made a decision and now I've got all these consequences. Well, at the point I made the decision, it made sense to me, full stop. That's a fact. It did. I was either insulating or exposing myself from or to something. And have a think back. What were you trying to do? Actually, I was trying to protect myself. Okay. Having protected myself, there were guaranteed to be three outcomes. The intended one, did I feel protected in that moment? Actually, I did. I didn't have to do that thing, or I wasn't exposed to this terrifying experience. So, intended outcome, tick. I did create that. There will be a whole load of unnoticed ones, and at the moment, I'm not dealing with those. There was also an outcome created that I don't want, and that is what I am dealing with now. Okay, unavoidable. Universal law, three outcomes is going to happen. So what do I do now? Well, actually now I go back to the top of the process, because we have a choice. We can make a decision in every moment. And when we are dealing with things, with the unintended outcomes of our decisions, we get to make a new decision. When the unintended outcomes are holding us back, are not serving us, we get to make a new decision. And we get to do it with our awareness on what we are trying to achieve. Are we trying to insulate ourselves, or are we trying to expose ourselves to something new? Let that be your primary driver. Make a decision, clear and open to the fact there will be three types of outcome. There will be the intended, there will be the unnoticed, and there will be the unintended. Do not hold on to regret. Recognize it for what it is. Go through the process, talk it through out loud. Take away its power, make a new decision. I will leave you with that. I wish you a joyful and peaceful few days, and I will speak to you soon.